Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Cooking with Auntie Cheese. So today we're going to be learning how to make Nigerian puff puff. I tell you, it is delicious. Take that from me. First, I want to introduce you to my brands, what I use usually. So I'm in Canada and I shop at the real Canadian superstore most of the time. I use the no name all-purpose flour. The no name all-purpose flour, the Rogers granulated sugar, and then I'm using the Fleischmann's traditional active dry yeast. So the active dry yeast, so make sure you get the active dry yeast. And then for salt, I use Windsor fine table salt. So the granules have to be fine, not coarse. So I have the recipe showing on the screen. So 3.5 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, 2 and 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, half a tablespoon of salt, and 2 cups of warm water. It's important that your water is warm. So next we're going to go into preparing the actual dough. So get ready, get your things ready, and you can follow through as I prepare mine. So I have a dry bowl, and first of all I pour in my sugar. So like I told you, it's half a cup of sugar. You can add more if you have a sweet tooth. I try to reduce the amount of sugar, and that's why I'm using half a cup, but like you could actually use like 3/4 cups if you want to. And then my half tablespoon of salt. So if you don't really take salt, it's also nice to reduce your salt intake like a bit, so like you don't have to use all. And then I add my 2 cups of warm water. For a softer dough, sometimes I add an additional 2 tablespoons of water just to make the dough a bit softer. Then I stir the water, the salt and the sugar just to get a smooth mix before I add my yeast. Once I add my yeast, I don't stir the mix again. Like I like to just leave the yeast to settle, right, for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, then I put in my flour. As soon as I add my flour, then it's time to mix. That's all really. So that's simple. So I wash my hands, make sure your hands are clean, or you could wear gloves, and then begin to mix the dough. Just walk through the dough slowly to make sure you have a smooth mix of the yeast, the sugar, the salt and the water. So once you've done that, just be patient as you walk through it. Once you get, you make sure like you have a smooth dough. The next thing you do is to cover it somewhere that is warm, so you can see the dough is smooth. I use a food wrap to cover my bowl, but you could use a dry cloth really. What we're expecting is that this dough is going to rise to double its size. So I like to heat my oven to about 100 degrees centigrade, put it off, make sure you switch off the oven, and then put the bowl inside so that the dough can rise within a warm environment. But really you can put it in your pantry, you can put it on your cooker, anywhere that is warm would work. So I put it in the oven, in a warm oven, for about 60 minutes, and 60 minutes later, voila, this is so good. Yes, so we have our dough ready. You can see the air bubbles showing that yes, your dough is ready to fry, right? And so I carefully removed the food wrap. Yeah, maybe I should have used a slightly bigger bowl, so that yeah, it doesn't rise to the brim, to make it easy to remove the food wrap. So we're going to go into frying the puffies. That's really the next stage, and that's the tricky part. You need to make sure you have the right temperature for the oil, right? Because if the oil is not hot enough, your puffies can soak oil. If it's too hot, it's just going to brown quickly on the outside and then not cook on the inside. So there's an art to it, and you know, you need to be careful. So usually I try out first by putting one, and then if it's sizzling and rises to the top, I know that my oil is ready. So I begin to scoop. I don't like my hands being messy, so I use my measuring spoons. For this particular one, I'm using the tablespoon, the 1 tablespoon size of the measuring spoon. I feel that's the right, you get a nice bite size of the puffies with that. I dip it in oil and then begin to scoop so that the dough doesn't stick to the spoons. And make sure that you don't overcrowd your frying pan, so that way the oil, the puffies can fry evenly. So once you have your puffies all scooped out in your frying pan, then it's time to toss it around with your frying spoon. Like, you could actually turn it one after the other, but I just prefer to just toss around most of them and just make sure that generally all of them are finding their way around the hot oil at the same time. My aim is to have it well cooked on the inside and then a nice golden brown on the outside. So it takes time to master the art of frying puffies, so don't feel bad if it doesn't turn out as well as you would want it to the very first time, but with time you'll get used to it. I like to put a paper towel in my frying basket just to soak up the oil as well. Another thing you may want to try out is different flavors. This is the plain one, but you could also try to add nutmeg, cinnamon, or even pepper. Yeah, some people add pepper and it's nice too, really. So yeah, try it out and let me know how yours turns out. I hope you enjoy it. It's really delicious, I can tell you. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me have your comments. Thank you.